Self-reliance is the most powerful tool you can cultivate in your journey towards success and fulfillment. Many of us grow up believing that we need others to support us, to hold our hand through tough times, and to be there when we stumble. But the truth is, the world does not always operate that way. People will come and go. Even those who promise to stand by us forever may leave when circumstances change. If you base your strength on the presence of others, you will always feel vulnerable and dependent. However, when you learn to stand tall on your own, no storm can shake you. Life is unpredictable. One day you may find yourself surrounded by friends, and the next, you could feel utterly alone. If your happiness and confidence depend on external validation, you will always be at the mercy of others' opinions, moods, and availability. But when you become your own pillar of strength, you gain a power that no one can take away. It does not mean that you should push people away or refuse help when it is offered. It means that you should never be so dependent on anyone that their absence shakes your foundation. In life, challenges will arise, and many times you will have to face them alone. There will be moments when no one understands your struggles, when no one stands beside you in your battles. It is in these moments that self-reliance becomes your greatest asset. Instead of looking around for someone to save you, you learn to save yourself. Instead of waiting for motivation from others, you generate it from within. This is what sets apart those who succeed from those who remain stuck in self-doubt. Think about the most successful and inspiring people in the world. They did not reach their heights because they had constant support from others. They got there because they refused to give up, even when they were alone. They understood that people can encourage you, but only you can do the work. They realized that no matter how many people believe in you, it will not matter if you do not believe in yourself. That is the essence of self-reliance. Often, we fall into the trap of expecting others to be there for us. We expect friends to always listen, family to always understand, and colleagues to always support us. But when our expectations are not met, we feel betrayed, hurt, or lost. The problem is not that people let us down. The problem is that we expect too much from them. People have their own battles to fight, their own struggles to face. They cannot always prioritize our needs over their own. Instead of feeling disappointed, we must learn to be independent. Imagine a scenario where you have an important goal to achieve. Maybe you want to start a business, improve your health, or pursue a dream. At first, people may cheer you on. They may offer advice, encouragement, or even help. But as time passes, their enthusiasm fades. They get busy with their own lives. If you depend on their motivation, your progress will stall. But if you have built a strong sense of self-reliance, you will keep going, even when no one else is watching. This does not mean that relationships and friendships are meaningless. It simply means that they should not be the foundation of your strength. Relationships should enhance your life, not define your ability to succeed. True self-reliance means appreciating the support of others, but not needing it to move forward. It means being grateful for encouragement, but not depending on it to keep going. It means knowing that you are enough, just as you are. One of the most empowering realizations in life is that you do not need anyone else to validate your worth. You do not need constant reassurance that you are capable. You do not need someone to hold your hand every step of the way. When you embrace self-reliance, you take control of your own destiny. You stop waiting for approval and start making things happen. You stop fearing solitude and start using it as a tool for self-growth. The path to self-reliance is not always easy. It requires practice, patience, and resilience. It means facing your fears instead of running to others for comfort. It means making decisions for yourself instead of always seeking advice. It means trusting your intuition instead of waiting for someone else to guide you. It is a journey, but it is one worth taking. Some might argue that self-reliance sounds lonely, but in reality, it is the opposite. When you no longer depend on others for your happiness and success, you become more confident. And that confidence attracts the right people into your life. You build relationships based on mutual respect, not dependency. You form connections that are strong because they are chosen, not needed. At the end of the day, life is your journey. Others may walk beside you for a while, but no one can walk it for you. The sooner you learn to rely on yourself, the sooner you will discover just how powerful you truly are. In life, we often believe that the people around us, our friends, colleagues, and even some family members, will always stand by us. We assume that those who laugh with us, celebrate our victories, and offer words of encouragement will always be in our corner. But as time passes, we realize that not everyone who appears to be a friend is truly one. Some people are there for convenience, others for entertainment, and some only because they need something from us. The harsh truth is that true friends are rare, and it is not a reflection of our worth, but rather the reality of human nature. Friendship is one of the most beautiful connections in life, but it is also one of the most misunderstood. Many times we label people as friends simply because they are around us frequently or because they say the right things at the right moments. We mistake acquaintances for true allies and assume that everyone who shows kindness has genuine intention. But life teaches us, often in painful ways, that not all friendships are built on loyalty, sincerity, or depth. Some people stay only for as long as it benefits them. The moment circumstances change, they disappear. This realization can be heartbreaking. It is difficult to accept that someone you once trusted, confided in, and considered an essential part of your life could turn distant, indifferent, or even betray you. But the sooner we understand that not everyone is meant to stay, the stronger we become. When we accept that true friendship is rare, we stop placing unrealistic expectations on people. We stop assuming that just because we are loyal, others will be the same. We stop getting disappointed when someone we thought was a friend walks away. Understanding this truth does not mean becoming cynical or distrustful of everyone. It simply means being wise about where we invest our emotions. It means recognizing that friendship, like any relationship, should be based on actions rather than words. It means observing who is there during our difficult days, not just our happy ones. It means paying attention to who celebrates us genuinely and who only claps when it benefits them. One of the biggest mistakes people make is holding on to friendships that no longer serve them. We often keep people in our lives out of habit, nostalgia, or fear of being alone. We excuse their neglect, justify their selfishness, and convince ourselves that they will change. But the reality is, if someone values you, they will show it. They will not only be present when everything is going well, but also when you are struggling. They will not just offer words of comfort, but also take action when you need them. Many people claim to be friends, but when the time comes to prove it, they are nowhere to be found. When life gets tough, when success fades, or when challenges arise, the number of people who truly stand by you often decreases. This is not a reflection of your worth, but rather a test of sincerity. Those who remain, those who support you without conditions, are the rare gems in a world full of temporary connections. Another important aspect of true friendship is mutual growth. A real friend does not just accompany you on your journey, but also encourages you to become the best version of yourself. They do not feel threatened by your success, nor do they secretly hope for your failure. Instead, they push you to rise higher, celebrate your achievements with genuine joy, and offer honest advice even when it is difficult to hear. A rare true friend will never try to dim your light. They will help you shine even brighter. On the other hand, there are those who call themselves friends, but secretly compete with you. They may smile at you, but resent your achievements. They may listen to your struggles, but feel relieved that you are struggling. They may pretend to support you, but never truly want you to be ahead of them. These people are not friends, they are merely spectators in your life, watching from the sidelines with mixed emotions. Identifying such people and distancing yourself from them is one of the healthiest decisions you can make. The sooner we stop looking for friendship in the wrong places, the more peace we find within ourselves. We realize that it is better to have one or two true friends than to be surrounded by a crowd of insincere ones. I'm sincere. We understand that solitude is not a punishment, but an opportunity to connect with ourselves. We start valuing quality over quantity in relationships. We learn to appreciate those rare souls who stand by us, and we stop wasting time on those who do not. True friends are rare, but they exist. They are the ones who see you at your worst and still choose to stand by you. They are the ones who defend you in rooms where you are not present. They are the ones who do not need constant reminders to check on you because they genuinely care. They are the ones who celebrate your success as if it were their own and support you through failures without judgment. They are not perfect, but they are sincere. Sometimes we go through seasons in life where we feel alone, where the people we thought would be there for us have disappeared. In these moments, it is important to remember that loneliness is not a reflection of our worth. It is simply life making space for the right people. The absence of insincere friends is not a loss, it is a blessing. It teaches us to rely on ourselves, to value the friendships that are genuine, and to never settle for anything less. Not everyone who calls you their friend is truly one, and that is okay. True friendship is not about having a large circle of people around you, but about having the right ones. The sooner we accept this, the sooner we stop seeking validation from the wrong places and start finding strength within ourselves. Pain is something we all try to avoid. It is uncomfortable, overwhelming, and often unbearable. Yet, no matter how much we try to escape it, life has a way of bringing pain into our lives in different forms, through loss, failure, betrayal, rejection, or personal struggles. In those moments, it feels as though the world has turned against us. We wonder why we have to go through such suffering, why life seems unfair, and why the people we trust the most sometimes hurt us. But what if pain is not meant to break us? What if pain is in fact our greatest source of power? The truth is, pain is one of the most transformative forces in life. It has the ability to destroy you, or to shape you into someone stronger than you ever imagined. It all depends on how you choose to respond to it. Many people let pain consume them. They allow it to define them, to make them bitter, to fill their hearts with resentment. But others take that same pain and use it as fuel to push forward, to grow, and to create something meaningful. This is the difference between those who remain stuck in their suffering and those who rise above it. Pain teaches us lessons that nothing else can. When we experience hardship, we learn who we really are. We see our strength, our resilience, and our ability to endure. We understand that we are capable of withstanding more than we ever thought possible. Without pain, we would never truly appreciate joy. Without struggle, we would never recognize the value of success. Pain forces us to reflect, to grow, and to become wiser. It removes illusions and reveals the truth about people, about life, and about ourselves. Some of the most successful, inspiring, and influential people in history did not achieve greatness because life was easy for them. They reached their heights because they faced immense pain and refused to let it defeat them. They took their struggles and turned them into motivation. They used their failures as stepping stones. They transformed their heartbreaks into wisdom. Every great story of success is also a story of pain. The difference is in how people choose to respond to it. Imagine an artist who has faced rejection countless times, a writer whose work was criticized over and over again, an athlete who failed repeatedly before finally succeeding, or an entrepreneur who lost everything before building something even greater. These people did not let pain make them quit. Instead, they used it to refine their skills, to strengthen their determination, and to fuel their passion. If they had given up at the first sign of difficulty, they would have never reached their potential. Pain also reveals the true nature of people around us. When everything is going well, we are surrounded by friends, supporters, and well-wishers. But when we face hardship, many of those people disappear. It is in our darkest times that we see who truly cares and who was only there for convenience. This realization can be painful, but it is also a gift. It helps us remove those who do not truly value us and focus on those who do. Pain cleanses our lives of insincerity and leaves behind only what is real. Another powerful lesson that pain teaches us is empathy. When we suffer, we understand the suffering of others. We become more compassionate, more understanding, and more willing to help. People who have never faced hardship often struggle to relate to those who are going through difficult times. But those who have been through pain know what it feels like, and they use that knowledge to lift others up. Some of the most kind-hearted and inspiring people in the world are those who have endured the most pain because they refuse to let it make them bitter. Pain also forces us to change. Many times we become too comfortable in our lives, afraid to step out of our comfort zones. We settle for less than we deserve. We stay in situations that no longer serve us. and we ignore our true potential. But pain shakes us out of that comfort. It forces us to evolve, to grow, and to become something greater. The most significant transformations in life do not happen when things are easy. They happen when we are pushed to our limits. Pain is the catalyst for growth. And those who embrace it rather than resist it become unstoppable. It is important to understand that pain is not something to be feared. It is not a sign of weakness, and it does not mean that life is against you. Pain is simply a teacher, a tool, and a test. It asks you, will you let this break you? Or will you let this build you? Those who choose to rise above their pain discover a strength they never knew they had. They learn to see pain as an opportunity rather than a punishment. They understand that every difficulty they face is preparing them for something greater. Of course, none of this means that pain is easy to endure. There will be days when it feels unbearable, when you feel like giving up, when you wonder if things will ever get better. In those moments, it is important to remind yourself that pain is temporary, but the strength it gives you lasts forever. Every hardship you overcome makes you stronger, wiser, and more resilient. Every challenge you face adds to your story, and one day, you will look back and realize that the pain you once feared was actually the thing that made you who you are. Pain is your power. It is the fire that forges strength. It is the storm that clears the path. It is the lesson that shapes your destiny. If you embrace it, learn from it, and use it, there is nothing in this world that can stop you. Happiness is something that everyone desires, but too often, people look for it in the wrong places. Many believe that happiness comes from external sources, success, wealth, relationships, or the approval of others. They think that once they achieve a certain milestone, once they get recognition, or once they find someone who truly loves them, then they will finally be happy. But the reality is that happiness does not come from any of these things. It comes from within. No one else is responsible for your happiness. No achievement, no relationship, no external validation can give you lasting joy unless you find it within yourself first. One of the biggest mistakes people make is attaching their happiness to other people. They believe that if they find the right friends, the right partner, or the right community, they will be happy. While relationships can bring joy, they are not the foundation of happiness. People are unpredictable. They change, they leave, and sometimes they disappoint. If your happiness depends on someone else, then every time they change or walk away, you will feel broken. True happiness is about being content with yourself, whether you are surrounded by people or standing alone. Society often teaches us that happiness is something to be earned, that we need to work hard, accomplish great things, or gain recognition before we can feel worthy of joy. But this mindset only leads to a cycle of endless chasing. You might think, I'll be happy once I get this promotion, or I'll be happy once I have more money, or I'll be happy once I find love. But once you achieve those things, new desires take their place, and you continue chasing happiness like a shadow that always stays just out of reach. This happens because external achievements bring temporary satisfaction, but they do not create lasting happiness. True happiness comes from self-acceptance. It comes from embracing who you are, flaws and all. It comes from recognizing that you do not need to prove yourself to anyone in order to be worthy of joy. It is about waking up every morning and being grateful for the life you have, instead of constantly focusing on what is missing. It is about celebrating small moments, appreciating your own growth, and finding joy in the simple things. Many people believe that they need the approval of others to be happy. They seek validation from friends, family, colleagues, or even strangers on social media. They measure their happiness based on how many people like them, praise them, or acknowledge their achievements. But when you give others the power to control your happiness, you also give them the power to take it away. If your self-worth is tied to external validation, then every criticism, every rejection, or every moment of neglect will shake your confidence. True happiness comes when you stop looking for approval and start valuing yourself for who you are, not for how others perceive you. Another major misconception is that happiness is something that happens to us, as if it depends on luck or circumstances. People often say, I will be happy when my life gets better, or I will be happy when I have fewer problems. But the truth is, life will always have challenges. There will always be obstacles, disappointments, and hardships. Waiting for everything to be perfect before allowing yourself to be happy is a waste of time. Happiness is not about the absence of problems. It is about how you choose to respond to them. It is about finding peace in the middle of chaos, about learning to smile even when things are not perfect. Many people sabotage their own happiness by constantly comparing themselves to others. They look at what others have, what others have achieved, and they feel inadequate. Social media has made this even worse, as people only share their best moments, making it seem like everyone else has a perfect life. But comparison is the thief of joy. When you compare yourself to others, you overlook your own progress, your own unique journey, and the things that make you special. True happiness comes from appreciating your own path, from recognizing that you are exactly where you are meant to be. Happiness also requires letting go of negativity. Holding on to grudges, resentment, or past pain only weighs you down. Many people remain unhappy because they are still carrying the burden of old wounds. They replay past mistakes, dwell on things that went wrong, and allow their past to define their present. But happiness is about release. It is about forgiving, not for the sake of others, but for your own peace. It is about choosing to focus on what is ahead instead of being stuck in what is behind. Self-care is another crucial part of happiness. Many people neglect their own well-being because they are too busy taking care of others, meeting expectations, or working endlessly. But happiness comes from treating yourself with kindness, from taking time to do things that bring you joy, from prioritizing your mental and physical health. It is not selfish to take care of yourself. It is necessary. You cannot pour from an empty cup. If you want to be happy, you need to nurture yourself, just as you would nurture someone you love. Gratitude is one of the simplest yet most powerful ways to cultivate happiness. When you focus on what you lack, you will always feel empty. But when you focus on what you have, you will realize how much there is to be thankful for. No matter what challenges you are facing, there is always something to appreciate. A kind gesture, a moment of peace, a lesson learned, or even the simple fact that you are alive. Gratitude shifts your perspective from scarcity to abundance, and that shift creates happiness. Happiness is not about being joyful every single moment. It is not about pretending that life is perfect. It is about choosing to find light even in the darkest times. It is about knowing that no matter what happens, you have the power to create joy for yourself. It is about realizing that happiness is not something you find, it is something you create from within. Life is unpredictable. People change, circumstances shift, and even those we trust the most may leave us at some point. One of the hardest lessons to learn is that no one, not friends, family, or society, will always be there to hold our hand. The only person who will be with you through every high and low, every triumph and failure, every moment of joy and pain is you. That is why the most important relationship you will ever have is the one you have with yourself. You must learn to be your own best friend. Being your own best friend does not mean isolating yourself or rejecting meaningful relationships. It means that regardless of who comes and goes, you remain whole. It means that you become your own source of love, support, and encouragement. Too often people expect others to fill the emotional voids in their lives. They rely on external validation to feel worthy. They look for love from others before learning to love themselves. But when you build your happiness around people, you become vulnerable to disappointment. When you rely on someone else for your confidence, their absence can leave you feeling lost. Self-love is not arrogance or selfishness. It is the foundation of a fulfilling life. When you love yourself, you set healthy boundaries. You no longer tolerate relationships that drain your energy or environments that make you feel small. You stop seeking approval from people who do not appreciate you. You understand that your value is not determined by how others treat you, but by how you treat yourself. Many people struggle with self-worth because they have spent years believing that they are not enough. They listen to the negative voices in their head that tell them they are unworthy. But being your own best friend means silencing those voices and replacing them with words of kindness, encouragement, and belief. One of the greatest acts of self-friendship is learning to be comfortable in solitude. Many people fear being alone because they associate it with loneliness. But solitude is not loneliness. It is an opportunity to connect with yourself on a deeper level. When you spend time alone, you discover your true thoughts, desires, and dreams. You understand yourself better. You become your own source of joy, rather than waiting for others to entertain or comfort you. Some of the most powerful personal growth happens in moments of solitude, when you're free from outside distractions and can truly reflect on your life. Being your own best friend also means being patient with yourself. Society teaches us to always strive for more, to be constantly productive, to chase perfection. But true self-care is about accepting yourself as you are, even when you feel imperfect. Just as you would encourage a friend who is struggling, you must offer yourself that same kindness. Instead of criticizing yourself for every mistake, remind yourself that you are growing. Instead of dwelling on failures, acknowledge how far you have come. Treat yourself with the same compassion that you would give to someone you deeply care about. One of the biggest reasons people struggle with self-worth is comparison. They look at others and believe that they are not as successful, attractive, or accomplished. But being your own best friend means focusing on your own journey rather than measuring yourself against others. Everyone moves at their own pace. Just because someone else is succeeding in one area does not mean you are failing. Instead of comparing, celebrate your own progress. Recognize that you are on a unique path, and the only person you should compete with is the person you were yesterday. Another aspect of self-friendship is trusting yourself. Too often, people seek constant reassurance from others because they do not trust their own judgment. They doubt their abilities, second-guess their decisions, and hesitate to take action. But being your own best friend means believing in yourself even when no one else does. It means listening to your intuition and having faith in your choices. It means knowing that even if you make mistakes, you have the strength to correct them and move forward. Protecting your energy is another essential part of being your own best friend. Not everyone deserves access to your time, emotions, or personal space. There will always be people who drain you, who bring negativity, who make you feel less than you are. Part of self-care is learning to distance yourself from those who do not uplift you. If you had a friend who was constantly being mistreated, you would tell them to walk away. You must do the same for yourself. Surround yourself with people who respect and inspire you, but more importantly, learn to enjoy your own company so that you do not depend on others for happiness. Forgiveness is also crucial in self-friendship. Many people carry guilt and regret for years, punishing themselves for past mistakes. But you would not hold a friend's mistakes over their head forever, so why do it to yourself? Growth requires forgiveness. Acknowledge your past, learn from it, and move forward. Let go of the things you cannot change, and focus on building the future you want. Holding on to self-blame only keeps you stuck in a cycle of pain. Free yourself from the weight of your past and choose to embrace the person you are becoming. Being your own best friend also means celebrating yourself. People often wait for others to recognize their achievements before they feel proud. But you do not need external validation to acknowledge your progress. Celebrate your small victories. Give yourself credit for how far you have come. Whether it is completing a task, overcoming a fear, or simply making it through a difficult day, recognize your efforts. Life is too short to wait for others to appreciate you. Appreciate yourself first. Finally, being your own best friend means always standing by yourself. The world may not always understand you. People may criticize, judge, or doubt you. But as long as you believe in yourself, nothing can break you. Speak kindly to yourself, trust your journey, and embrace who you are. At the end of the day, you are the one person who will always be with you. Love yourself, support yourself, be your own best friend. At the end of the day, the most important relationship you will ever have is with yourself. People will come and go, circumstances will change, but you will always have yourself. Choose to love, respect, and believe in yourself. Be kind to your mind, nurture your soul, and stand by yourself no matter what. When you become your own best friend, no obstacle is too great, no failure is too devastating, and no loss can break you. True happiness and strength come from within. Embrace yourself fully because you are enough just as you are. If you learned something new from this tutorial, don't forget to like and subscribe.